Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Azrina binti Muhammad Narishan, normal matrix 286503. So I will explain a little bit about prior introductions. The case of Sasikoma Paramasivam versus United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad revolved around the dismissal of Sasikoma Paramasivam from his position as a service associated at United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad due to alleged misconduct involving the misappropriation of the bank cash money. The claimant, a service associate who had worked for the bank since 2002, was fired for allegedly embezzling 1,000 ringgit Malaysia. Sasikuma Paramasivam, as the claimant, then filed a claim for restitution, argued that he had been fired unfairly and that his error had been an honest one rather than malevolent. This disagreement calls into question the fairness of disciplinary action for suspended wrongdoing as well as the confidence between employers and employees. According to the findings of the bank's disciplinary measure, which include a domestic investigation, the claimant activity constitute a significant breach of trust and were therefore grounds for terminations. The Industrial Court of Perak was tasked with determining whether the dismissal was justified and whether it was carried out with just cause or excuse. Industrial Court of Perak ruled in favor of United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad. The court found that the claimant Sasikuma had indeed committed a serious breach of trust by misappropriating 1,000 ringgit Malaysia from the bank, despite the claimant's argument that the act was an honest mistake. The court determined that the misconduct was severe enough to justify dismissals. The court emphasized the importance of integrity and trust in the banking sector and concluded that the bank was justified in terminating the claimant employment to maintain its reputation and uphold public confidence. The issue based on the case of Sasikuma Paramasivam versus United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad that are found is three issues, which is first is misconduct allegations, second is breach of trust and integrity, and third is proportionality of punishment. So the first is misconduct allegation. In misappropriation of fund, Sasikuma, the claimant, was charged with stealing 1,000 ringgit in cash from the bank safe without entering the transaction into the bank branch system. The claimant was seen on the CCTV putting the money in an envelope and then in his own bed. For admission of guilt, during an investigation, Sasikuma acknowledged stealing the money and only gave it back when the bank confronted him. The second is breach of trust and integrity. For fiduciary responsibility violation, Sasikuma was in a position of trust because he worked for a financial institution. His behavior was charged to be a violation of the bank's integrity standards, which are crucial when managing public monies, and then effect on the employer and employee relationship because of, according to the bank, Sasikuma action around the trust that was required to keep the job. And the last one is proportionality of punishment. Dismissals as a penalty. The claimant pointed that the dismissal was over the top for the first time the respondent had offered it, and the act was not done with any intent to harm. So for bank position, is the bank justified dismissal as a way of maintaining order and reminding people that any form of integrity is not permissible at the bank.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I want to explain about the implication for Malaysian industrial relation, the level of national. So the first is emphasis on integrated financial institution. It means the administering undercourse the banks as overseas of open store requiring representative to preserve the most noteworthy level of soundness. Any breach, particularly including misappropriation of reserve, is considered extreme offense justifying rejection. And the second is proportionality of dismissal. The choice outlined that needed long-serving representative can confirm expulsion in the event that found blameworthy of genuine unfortunate behavior. The court regard the discipline proportionate to the gravity of the offense, highlighting that residency does not pardon a breach of belief. And then the last is enforcement employer right to dismiss of misconduct. The case reframes an employer right to end work when an employee activities weaken the leave basic to the employer relationship in segment where guardian obligation are the obligation is our foremost. And that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Nur Fazila Mitreli and my street number is 28975. I'm going to talk about the lesson we can learn from Sasikuma Paramasivam versus United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad Industrial Court case and how it impacts workplace in Malaysia. So for the first point is focus on honesty at work. Honesty and trust are very important in any job, especially when you work with money or sensitive information. This case show that employers need to make sure these values are always followed. For example, companies in industry like banking may now set stricter rules to ensure employees stick to proper procedure. For the second point is dismissal for serious misconduct. The court decided that serious misconduct, like breaking trust, can be a valid reason to dismiss an employee. Even if no actual financial loss happened, action that damage trust cannot be accepted. This sends a strong message to workplace that such behavior is not okay. Next, lesson we can learn from Sasikuma Paramasivam versus United Overseas Bank Malaysia Berhad and the implication for Malaysian industrial relation on industrial is better workplace rules and check. To prevent similar problems, employers might do more random checks or audit. They may also provide more training to employees on how to behave at work and why ethics are very important. This helps everyone understand what is right and wrong in their role. The next one is impact on employers and employees. For employers, this case gives confidence to take a strict action if they have clear proof of misconduct. On the other hand, employees might feel reassured that companies must handle such issues fairly, especially for those with a good service record. In the conclusion, this case reminds us that trust is essential in the workplace. Employers need to act firmly but fairly, while employees must always follow the rules and stay honest.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sajira Syafiqah Razwan. My metric number is 287774. I will continue implication for Malaysia industrial relation on organizational level. First is integrity in the organization is contaminated. In this case, employee integrity is a major issue when employee fail to properly report and handle money. The bank acts decisively with the dismissal to protect its reputation and ensure other employees understand the importance of integrity in the banking sector. Even if there is no loss for reporting, breach of trust is considered as serious as it damages the fiduciary relationships between the employees and the organization. So to make sure staff members comprehend the seriousness of integrity violations, organizations may need to reaffirm their codes of conduct and ethical standards. Next is employees' rights and appeals are affected. Based on the case, although the dismissed employee was given the opportunity to appeal, the original decision was upheld because the evidence showed the existence of a serious breach of integrity. However, employers should make sure that procedures enabling employees to challenge disciplinary decisions are fair and open in order to preserve employees' trust and morale. So, when employees understand that they have the right to appeal disciplinary measures, they feel more secure and trusting in the organization. Employees are more likely to feel appreciated and respected when they sense their issues are addressed and considered. Last but not least, the implication for Malaysian industrial relation at organization level is the burden of proof. This case emphasis on the burden of proof may encourage organizations to review and reinforce their disciplinary policy and procedure. Employers may need to establish clearer procedure for dealing with a complaint of misbehavior, such as the stage required for investigation and the sort of evidence needed to support disciplinary action. This can help to establish a more systematic approach to managing employee behavior. The burden of proof is also like a protection, which is essential for maintaining a fair and just workplace environment where employees feel secure in their position.
So, for the conclusion on the totality based on overwhelming content and company evidence and consider finding it is more probably in favor of the company which is the bank to certify that the claimant was guilty of the serious charge of misconduct proffered against him involving misappropriation of cash money, whereupon the bank has discharged its burden of proving on the balance of probabilities of the claiming act of misconduct. Therefore, bearing in mind subsection of the Industrial Relations Act 1967 for this industrial code to act according to equity, good conscience, and the substantial merits of the case without regard to technicalities and legal form, and upon analyzing the evidence and facts of the case in its entirety, the court is certified and do hereby found that the claimants dismissals by the bank was done with just cause and excuse. According the claimant case is hereby dismissed. Thank you. That's all for me.